Welcome to NBC News. I'm Aline Saarinen. The convention has come to a close and we have a new Democratic candidate for president, Hubert Humphrey. With the election of the new presidential candidate comes many questions. Is this a good candidate? Was the convention successful? What influence did the protesters have? First, I'd like to talk about the protesters, the voice of the people. Many were there to protest the war in Vietnam and civil rights, while some were there just to have a good time, as Abby Hoffman said in an earlier interview. It was quite obvious that McCarthy had their support, and they pretty much all opposed Humphrey. He was barely able to give a speech due to the disturbance of yelling protesters during it. A little uprising led to some of their arrests at the hands of Richard Daley, who said he would use force if necessary. This did not scare them away, however. Like Richard D. Gregory said, they would keep moving forward. Yet, with all these displays and disturbances of anti-war cries in opposition to Humphrey, it seemed like they had little to no voice. A president and the government is supposed to be for the people, but I feel like that was not the case here at this convention. This leads me to the new Democratic presidential candidate, Hubert Humphrey. Is he a good candidate? I suppose it depends which lens you look at it through. If one was in support of President Johnson's ideals, then yes, I would say he is. But from what I've seen, this is not a candidate of the people. The majority of Democratic Party supporters wanted de-escalation of the war in Vietnam, but rather their candidate is trying to escalate it. Something one protester yelled at Humphrey during his speech sort of stuck with me. They said, if we wanted Johnson again, we would have just voted for him. I would say that holds some validity in this presidential election. So is Humphrey a good candidate in terms of a president of the people? I'd have to say no. Now finally, was this convention a success or a failure? It's really hard to tell the way I see it. There were some definite positives, like the party planks of the Democratic Party, including civil rights, infrastructure, the war on poverty, and one that kind of backfired, the decision of the war to be in the hands of the president. I say it backfired because of the McCarthy supporters that thought he would win the candidacy. Like David Dellinger said in an interview, it's a risky decision, but we support the decision because we have faith McCarthy will become president. While this seems like a fair principle, now if Humphrey wins, it will completely blow up in their face. I can't say whether this convention was a complete success or failure. It's kind of a toss-up. It had good and it had bad. We'll just have to see how the rest of the presidential race plays out. But for now, this has been coverage on the Democratic Convention of 1968. This has been Aline Saarinen with NBC News.